Hello.
Oh, there she is. There she
Oh, it's
is.
so good to see you.
Where are you now in the world?
In the world, I am in Egypt.
You're
Can't
still
can't
in
get enough of
Egypt.
this place. Yes, I am.
Beautiful. For those that are just tuning in, we had just finished a 20-day initiatic pilgrimage with
Mm.
Eluña in Egypt in the ancient land of Kem. And when we think of the word honored, I think it gets thrown around a lot these days. And I will not say this lightly that I am beyond honored to present my beautiful soul sister, Aluna. Seeing the way that she led this journey literally felt like an initiation. I felt like I was in a past lifetime being initiated as a priest all over again. And she is exactly what the world needs right now. And I can say that from my heart. Eluña has dedicated her life to going into the darkness, the most extreme depths of the human condition, and she has beautifully pulled out the magic of what it means to be a soul here on earth. Also, I wanted to honor Neil's vision of treating this as a ceremony. So I know
Mm.
that Eluña is very fond of ceremonies. She led many, many ceremonies in Egypt, but everyone putting their hand over their heart to really welcome this beautiful wisdom that is about to flow through. Eluña is a student of the universe, an Akashic channeler, a psycho-spiritual healer. She's devoted to the esoteric teachings of the ancient mystery schools, walking and guiding as an initiate and conduit of the divine. She doesn't call herself a teacher, even though she's earned a master's in Montessori education and has studied everything from medical anthropology to transpersonal psychology. Rather, she shows up to the world as a guide that points us in the direction of our truest self, which is actually what her name means, Aluna. A 3 hour a day meditator, she walks the walk of a humble student who is continuously channeling high vibrational information from beings such as the Pleiadian priestesses, the Arcturian Council, the three guides who are Hermetic scholars and contemporaries of Thoth, the Atlantean. And just when you thought it didn't get any juicier than that, she's recently begun to connect with the cosmic dragons that are supporting humanity in this great remembrance. In
Mm.
her work with others, Eluña has facilitated deep healing and helped to return people to what she calls the sacred temple, their heart center. She knows that it is in the heart center that all beings can receive healing through the restoration of the sacred, the birthright of sovereign knowingness. Last year, she was shown by her guides that she was to soon begin channeling publicly. And since then, she has magnetically attracted a beautiful tribe of humans that are seeking wisdom. And on a personal note, she is my guide, my friend, and a priestess that I hold dear in my heart. You are all in very good hands with this one. She never plans anything that she says, so I have no idea what she's going to talk about, but all the wisdom that pours through her is straight from her heart. Welcome, Eluña. We got to know, what are you most excited about to talk to us about today in your life?
Mm. Well, first of all, thank you very much. My heart is overflowing from that introduction. Thank you. You know, it's interesting. You're right. I don't plan what I say. And what my guides have been talking to me about a lot is this next phase of the awakening process that humanity is in right now. And it's interesting because the person who was just on, Matthew John, was speaking about this from an astrological perspective. And I didn't realize, I'm not an astrologer, and I did not realize that that is kind of the theme in astrology. The way that I read it, though, and what I've understood from my guides is that humanity is ready for the next phase of awakening. And that is really what I am excited about. I have come here not necessarily to wake people up in the initial stages. And what that feels like to me is more having those introductory conversations of, is is everything as it seems? Do you think that there is an unseen world that can be tuned into? That's kind of the beginning stage of awakening. And so much of humanity is now in the second stage. That is what I am the most excited for, is helping people who are in that phase and bringing people who are still in the first phase, who are kind of exploring, into the next phase. That is really what I am the most excited about. And that is what I believe I'm going to talk about today.
Well, I'll let you take the floor, take us wherever your heart is guiding us. And again, it's so beautiful to see you.
Thank you. And same. Yeah. So something that has really become clear to me, as I mentioned, is that humanity is in the second, what I consider to be the second stage of awakening. We are just in the beginning phases of that. And you may ask, how many stages of awakening are there? I don't know. It's a great question. And really, that's part of the mystery that we all get to be in, that we get to play in together, is this mystery of what is the awakening process and how many stages are there. This second stage, though, this is about spiritual maturity. And so there is a whole bunch of knowledge that we have gotten as a collective, and that we have also retrieved from the darkness, from the unseen realms, from ancient wisdom. We have retrieved a lot of knowledge. So there is a lot available to us now. There's a lot on the table for humanity to pick and choose from of, does this suit me? Is this part of my belief system? Do I want to know more about that? There's a lot available to us. And sometimes it can be very easy to be overwhelmed. It can be so overwhelming to see everything that is available, to hear so many different voices, to hear so many different paths that you could walk down. How do you know what is right for you? How do you know what you want to keep on your spiritual esoteric plate, and what do you want to discard? That is part of the process of liberating yourself, because you are choosing to say, this is right for me, and this is not right for me. It's not about making someone else wrong. It's not about saying that that type of wisdom is simply untrue. It just means that it's untrue for you. And with that amount of knowledge available, there is a responsibility that comes. Something that I have said for decades. I don't know when I started saying this. I was quite young. I was as a teenager. Responsibility follows awareness. So the more aware someone is, the more aware you are, the greater your responsibility is to follow through with whatever you have become aware of. And that's part of the reason why it can be very overwhelming. And it's also part of the reason why this esoteric knowledge, it used to be kept and kind of secured and hidden away for people who would not be overwhelmed. That time in humanity, that's a bit slower. We're kind of past that now. So we're in a place where we don't have the space and time necessarily to spend years and years, or even lifetimes, moving through a certain type of teaching, a certain school of wisdom, a certain esoteric concept. There are monks who spend a lifetime just contemplating one concept. What is truth? What is wisdom? What is the path of beauty? That is something that you could spend lifetimes contemplating. We are in a place right now, though, the second stage, where we are taking all that we have learned and applying it in the way that suits us, not in the way that someone else has told us it is meant to be or that it should be. We're not anymore listening to, this is spiritual, that's not spiritual. That is an outdated idea. And I will just say, it's actually quite immature. That's an immature way of thinking, that there is only one path for all of humanity to walk. There is one path for me, and there is another path for you. And as was so beautifully introduced, I do not consider myself to be a teacher. I consider myself to be a guide for others. I am a teacher for myself, and I have other teachers that assist me both in the physical and non-physical. But I am not anything to claim that I am a teacher. I cannot teach you something new. You are able to show what you know, and I am able to show what I know. And through that, there is a mutual remembering that can happen. That is this phase of humanity, is being open to remembering things together, not to giving our power away to one person or to one idea or to one path of wisdom. By doing that, we are limiting ourselves. And the whole idea of awakening, the whole idea of ascension is that we are moving beyond limitations. We are not accepting that this box is the only box there is, that it's the only place that we are allowed to operate within and from. And we are also not here to tell others that there's only one box for them to operate within and from. We are here to understand and take the lids off of all of the boxes so that we can see what is in everything. That is where the beauty gets to arise from. There is so much in humanity within our own sacred selves and within the collective. There is so much here. And if we limit it, we're going to miss out on the beauty. We're going to miss out on what is possible for ourselves, but also for the entire collective. So I really like to listen to my heart. I talk about that a lot. If there's one thing that I teach, then I guess it's about listening to our heart. It's about how to listen. And that is something that I have been practicing for consciously for quite a while, for over half my life now. I have been practicing what it is to listen to my heart. Your heart, it tells you everything. Your heart knows the way home. Your heart knows what is true for you. Your heart knows what is wisdom for you in this life at this time that you receive it. My guides often say that if there is a piece of information, even whether it's channeled, whether it's an astrology reading, whatever it might be, if there is a piece of information that feels very dense and heavy, and you are feeling squashed by it, you're feeling limited by it, that is something to really look at and consider, is this serving me or not? Because sometimes the heaviness and the feeling of being locked in, you're learning something within a confined space, and there is truth and wisdom that can come from that. But if you're there for a very long time, like weeks on end, that is probably something to let go of. That's something to be released, and just hold it lightly. My guides always say that. Hold whatever comes to you lightly. They consider it to be, they always give me this image, and they're giving it now, a diaphanous piece of cloth. So a piece of cloth that is diaphanous means that it can blow easily in the breeze. You can kind of see through it. It's opaque. That is the way that you hold ideas that come to you. If it is a part of your truth, you can trust it is going to become part of you. You are naturally going to integrate that into your being. You do not have to force anything. Your heart does not try to force. Your heart just allows. And so when we allow our heart to allow, more and more can come through. And that is what I would like to have happen for each person. I really want each person to be open to their heart. And that is really my main job. There is a beautiful quote by Victoria Holland, I believe is her name. She says, "I am not here to teach you. I am here to love you. Love will teach you." That's it. If we can all just love and hold love for others, we are showing up as a guide, because love is present and love will be the teacher. So this next phase of awakening that humanity is going through, it includes, as I mentioned, spiritual maturity. That means that for those of us who are more aware, who practice self-awareness and who practice awareness of the unseen, we have, in a way, more available to us. Just as most of us would want to do with more resources, when more material resources are available to us, we share them. We are not greedy with them. The same is true with awareness. But this time, the resource that you're sharing is responsibility. You are sharing your awareness by being responsible for yourself and for your own internal reactions that are taking place. And so that means not being offended when someone presents an idea that is contrary to your own. Because if we were all the same, it would be rather boring. It really would. Variety really is the spice of life, and food would be very boring without any spice at all. It would be very boring. And we are not here to have a limited experience. We are here to have an unlimited experience within the confines of this third dimensional reality. And that's where it gets to get fun. When we are able to allow our hearts to just do what they do, to guide us, when we allow ourselves to play, in the mystery and not feel like we need to have all of the answers all at once. We don't feel like we have to stay confined in the box that we have made for ourselves, and others don't have to stay confined in the box that you are trying to put them in or that they have made for themselves. When that no longer happens, life becomes joyful. Life just becomes a space where we get to experiment and we get to see how far can I push myself? How far can I take myself out of this third dimensional reality while still being connected to this physical body? That is where it gets very fun. And that is a place where I play. It's one of the ways that I'm able to connect to the Akashic records and connect to other beings who are in different dimensions and other realms, is really just by being playful, by being curious, and especially by listening. That is an art that I believe is being a bit lost. It is being a bit lost, the art of listening. It's something that I have been taught throughout my life from beings in the seen, but especially my guides in the unseen, is about the nature of listening. Listening, it does so much for yourself, because you are able to listen to what is happening inside, listening to your heart, which is the first place of guidance. When you move beyond that, though, once your heart has opened, when you have opened to your heart, is really what happens, by the way. Your heart is open. You have to be open to your heart. Once you have become open to your heart and you're choosing to listen more and more, you are able to hear more and more that is within you, but also that is all around you. That's the way that we attune ourselves to the things that are in the subtle, to the energies that surround us, and to the energies that want to come in and come through us, like when people channel. By each of us choosing to listen more deeply, we give others the space to open up themselves and to explore what it means to be themselves. That is what we are trying to do, is just to become more of ourselves. Many people have an idea in this community, I will say, that awakening is like a switch that you flip on and then you're awakened. And that's not my understanding of it. That's not at all how it works. The earth tells us what our process is like. The earth is our first mother and our first teacher, if we want to use that word. The earth moves slowly. The earth moves through processes. There are things that can happen spontaneously, like an eruption or a hurricane forming or an earthquake. Those things can happen rather rapidly, but it still is a process that has led to that eruption or that earthquake, etc. We are in the same place. The earth, the collective, is moving through a time where the process is rather speedy. It's speeding up more and more, as I know we all know. And in order to be fully prepared and equipped for that, we must be calm and listening to what is happening around us. If we are totally shut down or closed into the box that we have made for ourselves, then we're not able to hear what's really going on. That lack of listening means that you are limiting yourself. You're also going to end up limiting others unconsciously and unintentionally, but that is a side effect of that. And that means that we're going to miss this next stage of awakening that we're in. We're going to miss the energies that are available to us, because we're really just repeating the same things that have been happening on this planet for a long time, which is getting locked into one idea and saying that this is the only story, this is the only truth that can come from this. That's limiting. That means that we're missing out on what is actually available to us at this time. And as so many have been talking about, and as Emilio mentioned in the beginning, this dragon energy that has been coming onto this planet more and more is rapidly incoming at a very concentrated rate. My guides explained just recently that the dragon energy is an evolution of our physiologically of our spinal column, of our nervous system, and of the part of the brain that we call the reptilian part of the brain, which is evolutionarily, it's the lowest, it's the oldest part of the brain. And we call it the reptilian brain because it is the part of the brain that reacts. It is the instinctual part of the brain. It's where the fight, flight, freeze, that whole function is located. And it makes us react kind of animalistically. So where we stop thinking, we stop using our prefrontal cortex, the main part of our brain that is the newest in evolution and the most advanced part of our brain, where we process emotions. We stop using that when the reptilian brain is functioning. So this dragon energy that is incoming is physiologically, it is changing our nervous system, and physically, it is evolving our reptilian brain. So instead of a Kundalini awakening being a serpent moving through your spine, it is now a dragon moving through your spine. So again, second stage of awakening. It was Kundalini awakening at first. Now it is it's still a Kundalini awakening, but it's dragon energy instead of a serpent. So you can see the evolution is even there. That's part of the reason why I will come back to responsibility follows awareness. If we are more evolved, if we have more power available to us, which we do, and we will continue to have more and more with this new phase of awakening that we are in, we have an even greater responsibility with how we are using our energy, where we are giving our energy, and how we are supporting our own selves. We cannot only live from a place of, I'm just going to give it all away and I'm going to only live for someone else. I'm going to only serve and I'm not going to think about myself. We all are well aware of the importance of self-care. Doesn't mean we practice it all the time, but we're aware of how necessary it is. It's not a luxury for self-care. It's a necessity. And if we are aware of that, then we have a responsibility to uphold that, because that means that we are able to show others the same thing. We are able to uphold a certain level and a certain vibration, if you will, because of how we are taking care of ourselves. That is one of the reasons why I do meditate for quite a long time during the day. And it's spread throughout the day that I do that, but I can't imagine living any other way. I wouldn't be able to show up in the same way if I did not give myself that space and time. And it, to me, does not feel like a luxury. It is a privilege to live in a country and to be located in other countries in which I am safe enough to meditate. I will say that. That is a privilege. It is a necessity, though, for the type of work that I am doing and also to just be available for the collective. It is a necessity to meditate. So again, this knowledge that I mentioned that is all over the table of humanity now, all of us, I will say, know how important meditation is, and very few of us implement that. That's the first question that I get asked so often. How do I connect to my guides? And then I say, do you meditate? That's always what I say, because it's the first step. It's the first part of being able to listen, is just tuning into your own self. And then after you tune into yourself and after you have kind of quieted the things that are in there, you get beyond yourself. And once you get beyond yourself, then you are available to everything that is around you. So this responsibility is, again, increasing because of this change in evolution physiologically. I'm very curious to know what that's going to look like, because with our reptilian brain changing, with our nervous system shifting, that tells me that this is also a time where we are kind of ramping up on the planet for a lot of changes. And I feel like most of us are pretty attuned to that we are really at the start of this wave rising. We're still upcoming on it, but it is a rising wave. That means our bodies have to be prepared. And that's part of the reason why this dragon energy is coming through so strongly right now, because the dragons and the energy of dragons are attempting to assist us with this next phase that we are moving into. And that means no longer pretending that we don't know the things that we know. And that means no longer hiding for the sake of thinking that you need to play small, that someone else has a better answer than you, that someone else says something better than you do. We're past that. We are learning ourselves as sovereign beings who are here on behalf of the collective and on behalf of ourselves. We are part of the collective. And so that is who we are showing up for first and foremost. And then we are able to show up for the entire collective. We must move into that space. I will say we must. It is a space that we must move into in order to actually support. When we do reach the top of that wave, the crest, we are going to need to be fully prepared. That's just a fact. And that is why I believe my guides have been talking to me about this so much now. They have really been mentioning what it is to be liberated. If we are part of this ascension, we must be able to be liberated from everything that we have believed to be true about ourselves, that we have thought are the only ways of being. And that's what I was mentioning with confining ourselves into these boxes and putting other people into boxes. And that includes, in this community, I will say, that also includes putting certain spiritual beings, other dimensional beings into certain boxes as well. That is still limiting, because if we believe those beings to only be in one box and you don't want to identify with that box, then now you've limited yourself from understanding what is available to you there, because they're still a part of you. Even if you don't want to have anything to do with them, you are a part of Source, as am I, as are they, which means there is something to learn from them. There is a part of you that is being expressed there. So not limiting ourselves and not pushing something away simply because we have been told that's not spiritual, or that's not the way that that's supposed to sound. You're not supposed to look that way if you're meditating, or whatever it is. Those all have to be let go of. Those are limitations. And the first step is it's so fundamental. It's so fundamental to us as humans. It is letting go of the human stories, the stories that our mind tell us about who we are and what we're able to do, what we're not allowed to do, the story of your family, of your blood family, the story of the culture that you are raised in, the story of the religion that you were raised in, all of those things, those slowly, in your own time, have to be released. And the way to do that is just to start questioning them, to be genuinely curious about why do I hold that? What is actually there for me? Because there is definitely a lot for you there. There is medicine, there is healing, there is wisdom, because that's why you're in it. But to confine ourselves to that means that we are unconsciously or not going to confine others in other ways. And that's the second stage of awakening, spiritual maturity. No longer confining ourselves, which therefore will have an effect on others around us, not confining others to be in a certain box. So, my guides, a few of my guides, the 3 guides specifically, who are, as Emilio mentioned, they are contemporaries of Thoth. So they came through earlier this year, and it's amazing actually to say that, because it feels like they've been with me forever, which they probably have in some way. But they came through consciously earlier this year, and they talk a lot about alchemy. That is really a primary focus of theirs, as well as Hermetic teachings and Hermetic wisdom. And what that really means, they pull from all kinds of what we would call religions or spiritual ideas that are all around the world, because Hermeticism is kind of a foundation. There's a little bit of Hermeticism all over the place that you can find, which is quite beautiful to me. And they use that to paint a very large picture for all of humanity, and to show me the tapestry that humanity is a part of, and kind of where we are in that tapestry, what threads are being woven at this time, is really what they like to focus on. And so they have let me know that what they would like to talk to us about is liberation, because that is where we are. Awakening is one stage, and then there's liberation. that is where we are. And they are saying right now, liberation is a process, and it's also something that you choose every day. And they're saying also that it's awakening is actually something that you choose every day. So they have mentioned this to me before, and thank you for reminding me. Awakening is a choice that we make every day, and sometimes in every moment of every day or every hour. We're choosing to wake up again. When we choose to wake up, for example, when I wake up, there's a certain set of things that I do, and then I meditate. And sometimes just because I have meditated doesn't mean that during the day, if a challenge arises or a challenging emotion comes up within me, I might forget myself. I might forget the awakening. I might forget about liberation and start to put myself in a confined box, which disempowers me. And if I am disempowered, I am going to unconsciously and unintentionally disempower the people around me. So it is a choice to awaken. It's not a switch that is flipped. It's not one thing that happens, one event that takes place. There might be a catalyst in your life that you can remember now, that you can say, that was the moment that I woke up, that my eyes opened. Beautiful. Keep opening your eyes. again and again, because it is very easy to close them. The world around us wants us to close our eyes. And it is painful, I know. It is painful to keep our eyes open sometimes, to see what's happening in the world around us and to keep our eyes open, to not fall back into the idea of that's why those people are evil. It's very, very easy to fall back into that as a human because we have stories and we want to close our eyes when it becomes painful. Whether it's something that is just personal that we are going through or dealing with our own pain, or whether it is something in the collective. When it feels painful, sometimes it feels scary or overwhelming, we close our eyes again. That is what we are growing out of. When we liberate ourselves, we no longer want to close our eyes. We no longer unconsciously close our eyes. Because when we have liberated ourselves, we are fully free to have a complete experience on this planet. And we allow others to have a complete experience on this planet. It's not about trying to understand why is that their experience. It's not about understanding it. And I'm going to just say right now, don't try. Just don't try to understand it. With your mind, don't try. Just let it be what it is. If it's not for you, then just say it's not for you and let it go and go back to what is for you, because that's where you're going to find more awakening. You're going to find more of yourself there, and you're going to allow yourself to be free, to be liberated. And by letting go of whatever someone else is doing or a group of people are doing, you're allowing them to be liberated. It's not about trying to understand and make everyone the same. We don't actually want everyone to be the same. We want everyone to be their fullest expression. We want everyone to be the same in terms of liberation. But the way that liberation looks and even the way that liberation might feel is going to be different for each person. And that is what we want. We want to allow all of the varieties of experience and all of the expressions of the divine to come through in our own self and to come through in everyone around us. So my guides have been speaking a lot about this concept of what it means to be a spiritual or awakened person. They've been speaking to me about that a lot and have really opened my eyes to the ways that I have confined my own self. It's certainly a process that I am going through and will be going through for I don't know how long of this conscious liberation and waking up every day and in every moment. So they are telling me that the three guides are telling me that they would like to come through now. Thank you. They're saying it was a lovely introduction. So I'm going to let them take it away, and it will just take me a moment to tune in. We are here on behalf of the liberation for all. This means allowing all to express the all. You do not know the all. You cannot know the all. The all is unknowable. This is the part of the mystery that you are to allow. You are meant to not know the all. The way that you are meant to know the all is through the expression and the experience of knowing others around you and knowing yourself. Who is the all within you? How does the all express itself through you? How does the all move you? How do you move through the all? How do you allow others to be in the all, to express and experience the all? These are questions that can be contemplated for some time, not easily answered right away. Some of them, yes, some of them take longer. You, as a collective, are learning what it means to embrace and accept everyone around you as part of you. How do you embrace all within yourself? Do you embrace all feelings, all experiences? Do you allow every part of you to show itself, even if only to you? Do you allow yourself to be a mirror and a window for others to see themselves in and through? This is how you allow more and more to move through you. This is how you see more and more around you. We are here to uplift consciousness, uplift to a state of being able to see from a higher perspective. We speak often about the pendulum swing, moving back and forth. The pendulum brings you from one experience in life to another, sometimes high, sometimes low. Your heart brings you from one experience or feeling to another, sometimes high, sometimes low. Uplifting your consciousness, awakening to a higher perspective, means that you have chosen to be in the middle of this pendulum, seeing it from above. This is a space that is always accessible. To remove your human self from the experience, to remove the human feelings and drama from what is before you, seeing it from outside eyes, the eyes of the observer. This is still a part of humanity that is being taught at this time. This is still a lesson that is coming through for most. Even this one has struggles and attempts to see things from a higher perspective and does not always succeed. There is much to be learned in this arena, for the human experience is all-encompassing. It is meant to take all of your senses, all of your attention, and direct it into one space. This is why when you choose to direct your senses and all of your attention to a different space, to a space away from the human self, you are able to see more beyond the human self. Do you see? Do you see how you can see more? When you remove the energy, the attention that is placed so easily on what is around you, on the feelings that arise within you, you are able to see more and more. Listening is part of seeing. You cannot see what you do not hear. You cannot hear what you do not see. You are able to understand only a small piece when one of these faculties are employed. You are opening to a space where all faculties are online simultaneously. How do you taste the divine? How do you move through the divine and feel it within you? What do you see when you look around yourself? What do you see when you look within yourself? All experiences are part of the divine. The divine is having an evolutionary experience here on earth as your soul embodied in this physical form, animated by spirit. Allow yourself to experiment. Allow yourself to be in play, to be in joy while you do so. That is where the greatest experiments, the greatest successes come through, is in play, in joy. This is how children learn best. They learn through play. They remember and learn through joy. Allow yourself to be in that space. Bring yourself to that space. Do not wait for something outside of you to bring you to a space of joy, to bring you to a space of surrender. Bring it in yourself. Empower yourself by choosing how your experience will look, by choosing what you will experience today, in this moment. This is reclaiming your power, your choice here on earth of the experience that you will have. No longer a victim to the throes of the pendulum swing. No longer a helpless victim being tossed about by the winds of change, the changing tides on the planet. Instead, you are above this. Instead, you are choosing how you move over this wave. You are choosing how you sail with this wind. This is self-empowerment. This is choosing to reclaim your own sovereign choices here on earth. That is the expression of the divine. Sovereign choice. For you To honor yourself as sovereign means that you honor others as sovereign too. You allow them their own sovereignty by allowing them to be free in their expression, by allowing them to move the way that they need to move. This does not mean that you accept what is happening from them in your field. It does not mean that you allow yourself to be beaten down or taken advantage of by another. It means that you choose consciously and with your heart what is appropriate for you, what is connected to your highest good, your highest learning. This is your highest good. Your highest good is your highest learning. Can you accept that? Can you open to that? That each moment, your highest good is your highest learning. How could you move through challenging experiences differently? By having this perspective that it is your highest good, because it is your highest learning in this moment. This is a way of understanding both healing and growing. Your highest learning means that it is also medicine for you. If you are healing, then you are learning. If you are learning, you are healing. Healing past wounds from yourself. Healing past wounds in your ancestral line. Healing wounds within the collective. By learning a new way. By learning what is right for you. What is in alignment with your heart. This is your highest good. This means it is your highest self, your highest timeline. Understanding this brings you to a new point of awareness, and, as has been said, a new point of responsibility. Can you allow others their highest learning, even when you see where it is leading them? Sometimes we watch children do something that is going to result in them getting somewhat hurt, and it must be allowed in order for them to learn. We do not stop young children when they are learning how to walk. You allow them to walk. You allow them to fall. You allow them to pick themselves up again. This is the same for those around you, and can be difficult when your emotions are tied to theirs, when their own well-being is tied to your own. There is a separation that is necessary. There is a distinction from self that is necessary here. To understand that another has entirely their own experience. You are meant to allow this other to have their experience as you have your own. Humanity is arising to this space, to this level of development, allowing others the freedom to choose what they will. No forcing, no exploiting, no demanding. Allowing their heart to lead them where they go, and you allowing your heart to lead you where you go. This phase of liberation, this phase of awakening, this is how more and more in the collective will be welcomed. Those who have not yet fully awoken have much fear in their hearts. They are held down, weighed down by this fear. If they feel forced, they are not choosing for themselves. This means they are not liberated. They are not sovereign in their being. And that is the very aspect that you want to see changed. That is the very aspect that we want to uplift humanity from. The weight of fear, the shackles of not being sovereign, the chains that bind you. You are meant to be free. You are meant to experience this earth as a sovereign being. And only by allowing others this same freedom can the world be free. And when there is freedom, there is peace and unity. For it is freedom that binds together. It is freedom that is shared for all, rather than pain, sorrow, the heavy weight of fear being a binding agent, as it is for so many on this planet. Freedom becomes this thread that connects all. Freedom, the remembering of sovereignty. This becomes the connecting thread for all. And that is the all. And more than anyone can know. We do not know the all. We experience the all from this dimensional space as we experience the all. And every experience of the all is merely that experience, not right, not wrong. It is simply the experience. So will you allow yourself the experience? Will you allow yourself the freedom to experience the all within you? The many shades, the many colors, the many experiences, the varieties of form, of emotion, of rising above, everything in your life, part of your story, part of the all. Will you allow it to be your teacher? Will you allow it to be your medicine? Will you allow others the same? These coming months for humanity do herald change. There is much in the way of uprising. There is an energy on the planet that is making beings quite restless. They cannot sit still any longer because there is this nudging feeling that something is amiss. That energy is going to grow more and more. And those who are not yet quite awakened will wake up quite soon. Are you in a space to welcome them with love in your heart, just as they are? Just as they are now, full of fear, full of questions, full of doubt. Can you welcome them anyway? Can you welcome these aspects of yourself anyway? This is what it is to rise above, to be in the middle of the pendulum, to see things from a higher perspective. Will you bring yourself there so that you may welcome others to join you? Responsibility. The leaders on this planet, as you all are, have a responsibility to be welcoming, to be open to each experience that presents itself to you. No judgment. Curiosity to invite deeper knowing. Curiosity to invite the mystery to open itself more. Judgment closes. Curiosity opens. Open yourself and open others. This awareness has now been given, and you have a choice to accept this responsibility or not. We welcome each of you to call on us as you need. We are guides for the collective. We welcome you to call on us as you need. Always present, we are here to serve and uplift humanity. We thank you for allowing us this space, for allowing us to come in a bit deeper with some sharpness. We do not always give easy truths. We do not always offer what is considered to be a lightness in terms of a message, but we do offer truth, and that is our purpose, to offer our truth, and only as an offering, something to be taken or left behind as it suits you. There is much love in this group. We would like to honor the resilience and the courage of each of you for choosing to continue at this time with these changing waters sweeping the planet through energy, through social uprising. We honor you for your courage. Remember your heart. It is where your fire is kept. Thank you. Thank you. My energy stays with me. Your energy stays with you. Back where we started.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
That was very profound, very deep, and just inviting everyone to close out with a deep inhale. And on the exhale, drop all of that wisdom straight into the center of your heart. And allow it to be with you for the days to come. Allow yourself to contemplate. Allow yourself the space to allow whatever messages needed to reach you and needed to subside in your subconscious. Allow that information to gently drop in. I know truth by the way that it feels. And every time you speak, every time you open your mouth, I can feel the truth. And it is such an honor to see you in your greatness, in your light. And just to close off, where would you send people to connect with you, with your work, and more of your messages?
Thank you. If you would like to connect with me for free, I am on YouTube for free. I send out many messages on there, many videos come through. Usually it's monthly updates and more that you can find on YouTube with Eluña Noel. And also my website, eluñanoel.com. There is a membership platform that I have in which I offer monthly meditations, live Q&As, and also a special kind of secret, if you will, not so secret, channeling series called Channeling After Dark, in which I go for quite a while. I usually look into things for about an hour or an hour and a half. And those are just topics that are interesting to me or pertinent and relevant. It is where I first learned about dragon energy, for example, and the ways that it's impacting us. It's very interesting. So if you'd like to see more of that, that's at eluñanoel.com.
It looks like we're back in Egypt with that new background.
I love it.
Already missing
Perfect.
Those pyramids. Already missing them. Well, we have much to catch up on, and thank you so much for giving us all your time and your wisdom.
Thank you, and thank you very much to Portal to Ascension, and also Neil Gower and the whole team. Thank you very much for having me. This was beautiful, and thank you, Emilio.
Thank you.